We're going to start with our falafel, and so I have soaked chickpeas here. These are raw, not cooked. You don't want cooked chickpeas for falafel. You just want soaked overnight chickpeas. This is about 1 cup dry, and it becomes 2 cups when it's soaked. I'm going to leave a few of them for hummus later. So I've used about 2/3 of it, left 1/3. I'm going to put in about 2 teaspoons of cumin powder. I'm going to put in about 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to put in a good handful of parsley. And then we're going to add in a little bit of water. Don't forget the salt. You need about 1 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to start this. All right, perfect. All right, we're going to transfer this to a bowl and let it sit for a minute while we make our purple pitas. All right, I highly recommend not using your hands, and yet I can't seem to help it. So this is enough for like 3 to 4 people. You can see here that we've got a nice consistency. And I always like to use my hands to feel what we've got here. It'll hold together when we fry it, and it's nice and soft. So we're gonna let this sit for a little bit. Okay, for the purple pita, you can see my sweet potatoes are cooling over there. I have about 1 teaspoon of yeast, dry yeast. I'm going to add a little bit of warm water. Just let that activate. And we're going to go ahead and peel these off. I just boiled these. And we're going to mash them. Let's mash this up. Ooh, doesn't this look amazing? Okay, so we are going to make our purple pitas. So this is our yeast and water, and I've let it get a little bit bubbly. You can see it's a little bit bubbly. So we're gonna add this a 1/2 cup measure. So I'm gonna add about 2 cups of the whole wheat flour, and then I'm going to add about 1/2 of the purple sweet potato right now. Let's mix it around and see where we get. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt, 1 teaspoon salt, and then let's mash this up. All right, so we still need a little bit of water in this. Oh, look at that color, just awesome. So this is about 2 cups of flour and 1/2 a pretty big purple sweet potato. I think I'm going to add a little bit more flour just to get that stickiness out. Nice. So you can see it's coming together beautifully. Wipe up all the dry flour. We're going to let this sit. And this is going to rise for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. All right, can't have pita without pickled onions. I mean, you can, but it's a lot better with. So let's get that going while the dough is rising, and we're just letting the falafel mixture sit a little bit and before we fry that. So 1 purple onion. Today's all about the color red and purple. Teaspoon of salt and some apple cider vinegar. Just mix that around. And we're going to let it sit. By the time we're ready to eat, these will be beautifully pickled. Break those up. I don't generally like the inside core of this because it doesn't crunch anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. To begin with, I am going to take half an avocado. Actually, let me take the whole avocado. I'm going to take a whole avocado. Let's mash the avocado with the yogurt and the tahini. So you need 1 good spoon of tahini. I'm going to use garlic powder in this one so you don't get that really harsh taste of raw garlic. The dried garlic has a slightly more mellow flavor. So maybe 1/4 teaspoon of dry garlic. Let's mash this up. Let's add in the yogurt. I've got coconut yogurt here. It's one of my favorites. Tastes insanely good. So, love coconut yogurt. Also thickens up the yogurt a little bit. So let's go ahead and mix that up. Adds that nice green hue to it. I don't have fresh dill. That would be a really delicious addition to this. You can't have a Middle Eastern feast without fresh lemon. So traditionally you would grate in some of the cucumber right into this sauce. I'm gonna add my herbs, leave that separate, and put my tomatoes and cucumbers here, I think, today. I know I said I was gonna mix them up, but I think I changed my mind. We're gonna throw these in. And then I'm gonna chop up the cucumber nice and fine as well into little tiny dices. So really thin slices. And then we're gonna go ahead and chop it all up. Need to sharpen my knife again. So I've got slivers over here. go ahead and add a little bit of lemon and black pepper and salt into this. Let this hang out. So let's add a little bit of salt, about half a teaspoon here, and a teaspoon of black pepper. And I don't want the whole half a lemon, it's rather large, so I'm going to use a quarter of a lemon and squeeze that in. If the quarter cooperates. So quarter of a lemon, salt, black pepper, cucumber, and tomato. Mix that around. We're going to let this hang out. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of za'atar to this because I don't have dill. I don't keep it in the house. My son hates it. So I'm going to add a little bit of za'atar just to oomph it up. So yes, I'm just mixing things up, making it up as I go. Don't be afraid to experiment. So today seems to be purple day. I'm gonna make my hummus. So that was 1 cup boiled chickpeas left over from the ones I soaked for the falafel. 4 cloves of garlic. So I'm gonna add the purple sweet potatoes in. Let's see what happens. I have no idea. Should be good though. Squeeze in a lemon. Spoonful of tahini, and let's mix it up. So we have our purple sweet potato hummus to go with our falafel. All right, so we're going to make the pita, and I've got some plain white flour, and I've got my rolling pin, and I'm just taking a rather large, maybe like the size of a clementine, a piece of the pink dough that has been rising for about 2 hours, and we're just going to roll it out kind of into an oval. So that way when you put the falafel in, you can kind of roll it up like a taco and eat it. You can make it round, you can make it triangle, you can make it whatever shape you like. The oval shape works for me. You can either fold it right in half down the center and make it like a sandwich, or you can fold it long ways like a hot dog. I am going to line these up in a pan and bake these on about 450 for about 6 minutes on each side in the oven. And you can also bake them for 6 minutes one side and then take them off and roast them over an open flame. So both ways work beautifully. The open flame gives you a little bit of that charred flavor, which is really nice. So if you don't have a tandoor or a clay oven handy, that's a nice way to get that same charred flavor. Roll these out. You can put pieces of parchment paper in between or a little bit of extra flour. Hold them, and then when you're cooking them, you can throw them, as I said, either into the oven, or you can put them, half cook them at 6 minutes only, and then put them over the flame. So let's see how that works. All right, so we're going to start to make the falafel. You want to make sure the oil is warm enough. If you hover your hand over the oil, you shouldn't be able to hold it there very long. So when it feels warm enough, and you can always test with a little piece, it needs to start sizzling and bubbling when you throw in a tester piece. And as you can see, that is happening. So I'm just dropping these in piece by piece with a spoon. You don't want to do it with your hands, obviously. So as they start to turn brown, you're going to scoop them out with a slotted spoon or whatever you use to fry. You want to do it on a kind of a medium, lowish heat so that they get fully cooked inside. Continue the process until you're completely done with all of your falafel mix. If you don't want to cook them all in one day, you can keep that mixture in the refrigerator for about 3 or 4 days and just fry it fresh whenever you're ready. And fun fact, you can also bake these in the oven or in your air fryer instantly. So it is not necessary to deep fry these. All right, so I half did these in the oven for about 6 minutes at about 450 degrees. And now I'm going to finish these off on the flame. So if you don't have a flame, you can finish them off in the oven, of course. You can finish them off in the air fryer. You can also just put them onto a griddle and do them that way, fully on both sides, just like you would any other flatbread or tortilla or something like that. So you have lots of options. I like this flame option because it chars it a little bit and gives that little bit of smoky flavor to go with the falafel. So just play with it, see what is most delicious for you. You want to make sure it's completely cooked through. So that just takes a little bit of experience or kind of, experimenting, I should say, to make sure that it's fully cooked through. You'll see little subtle brown marks to make sure that it is done on both sides. All right. So once you get the pitas toasted up and the falafels fried up, we're going to start to assemble. So you're going to start with a pita at the bottom, put some of the white tzatziki type sauce, some of the pink hummus, and then you'll throw on the falafel, the pink onions, and the cucumber and tomato salad. This comes out so delicious, and it's just a fun thing to look at because it's so bright and colorful. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe.